You guys have your shape looking like it's getting set up quite well, especially from an edge. I'd probably start thinking about sort of the more minute details. So I'll just show it here. I mean, you're really picking on stuff here, um, but minute details here. It's always quite obvious that this is the ball carrier for you guys, so everyone can kind of tee in on him. Their spacings don't defensive spacings don't have to be too much different because we know we're teeing up on that middle guy. But if we could play this inside guy a little bit flatter with his hands up, actually showing for the ball and maybe a little bit further away from him, and it's going across his face, that's just going to hold an inside defender, and it's just going to keep a defensive line thinking about where they're rushing up to. Again, like I just say, it's just real nitty gritty, small stuff. Um, but those small sort of things help at this stage. Um, Again, no connector in behind here. Sorry, I was plugging in my Mac. No connector in behind here for a tug option, or if these guys are going to run through it and we could just hit that player out here and play off that. Again, it may be something you guys have never worked on or you're not interested in doing, which is fine, but that's just a small thing that I'd pick up on there. So as it comes here, he's quite deep. They're not an initial threat, and everyone knows who they can load up on. Just a great tip here to create go forward ball, gain line ball. If he had taken into contact, we're looking at a tackle here. Instead, just a little tip, and already we're in behind the gain line, so just makes a huge difference. Just nice work there from that front rower. Commend you on the trick play here. I think this is awesome. I like to use a new trick play maybe once every game, whether it's from the lineouts or for the backs. But if the forwards come up with one trick play every game and one trick play every 2 games, they get to use their imagination. They think it's fun, and everyone really enjoys when you score or it works well off a trick play. And it keeps the opposition guessing because they know you're willing to try stuff, straight off the bat. So awesome play there. Here of that connector I was talking about in the last few games here. So we're just playing it in behind here and create a little bit of space. I've harped on about it a bit, but if personally, I would try and get the pass in through here to him in motion, so he's playing a bit flatter to utilize the defensive hinge that's usually around about here. And I'd like to see, as soon as this pass is going to come in behind, one of these players start to attack into this space. Now, this could be a complete exit setup, so they're all waiting for the chase, which is cool, then this is kind of null and void. But if you can just get one of those guys in general play picking it up, we'll see later in the game if I can get one, then Huntley can run that backdoor option, and it just creates a few more options. But he's connected there, but a little bit deep. Struggled with shape was getting players to drop into shape from broken play. It's easy to set up a ruck on the edge of the field or go from a set piece, but I found myself quite often in the last season anyway, just throwing the ball in, and letting them play from that, or putting a kick in that's not expected, a counter-attack kick, and saying play off of that and trying to get players to drop into shape, because we've all kind of flooded back towards ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sort of 7, 8 players really, in this vicinity. And as you play it on here, okay, not too bad. Is he holding the width? Like, does one need to be here? Does he need to be running back towards the ruck? Could he have been running out here to set up? So this is a kind of a good clip, I think, to show like what needs to happen next from these set pieces. And as we from these open field places, as we play it on, I've showed the similar clips of this before. I think you just get a little bit lost. So we play here. That's cool. What are these guys' jobs now? What are they thinking? Are these guys' jobs to hold the blind? Are we going same way? So kind of but static, one out runner, not a lot of support, not a lot of options. Okay, kind of a one out runner again, not a lot of support. The guy goes off his feet. You're probably lucky not to get a turnover against you there, because he was isolated. 9's looking to have a little dart, looking for inside option, but he hasn't got one. He's isolated. So I hope I'm not being too harsh, but I just think it'd be a good one to show the players. I just feel, everyone's a little bit lost and like, what actually is my role and responsibility from this situation here. I'll let the clip play on because we actually tug really well here. But again, these guys, he's kind of showing, I like him showing, but these guys are kind of flat out there. What are they expecting to be playing off? Are they trying to play off this tug? And then we do tug. Oh, and all of a sudden, sorry, rewind it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players out of the game after that one tug there because they're not options anymore. So imagine if, I'm not sure if that's Nalu or not, but if this guy was back here, these two were back here running into this hole, that's the hinge I talk about because, it's come forward and back, so the hole's there, then we're really in business. I really think this would be a good a clip to show the team. We've done what I've said in other videos. We've created this shooter because he wants to get a shot on that backdoor pass, but not a lot of options. Everyone's kind of running sideways again, and it's just going a little bit lateral. So awesome way. Like, how easy was that on that one tug to create all that space, but we can't necessarily utilize it because players get a little bit lost. I think there could be another example here as we play it on. Are we a little bit lost here? He's running a great line, actually. I'll take that back. Okay, so we've tugged in behind, but I think one of these players here, as we do tug, need to be actually back further and an option. He needs to be a running option off this guy rather than showing as an extra outside man. I hope that makes sense. Again, see how we've got that tug in, created a bit of a hinge here because this defender's up, he's back, there's not much tracking through the inside, but not really any straight lines, not any options off him. This passage of play is a really good example, I think, of how players could do that. And once again here, I think I remember this clip. I hate being a broken record, but whether it was supposed to be a tug or not, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here. See coming in behind 6 guys now, basically, that aren't really an option. They need to be, these 2 hardline runners in here. I hope this makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. I know I'm kind of harping on the same thing, but everything is looking so good off the edge now, and your shape's being set up so well first phase. You got that tug happening, but it's that next little step now that'll really utilize that tug. This would be a really good clip to show the players. I keep talking about the wording I use, the hinge or the gap, but I know I've showed a lot of these clips, but if you keep hammering it home to the players as it plays on through here, the gaps are huge in this connecting area. Teams seem to be quite bad at connecting in this area. You play it through here, like if that pass was able to be tugged, if this guy was putting himself in the game a little bit more here, it was able to be tugged, this is just space to be burnt. Like, that's certainly a line break opportunity, if not a scoring opportunity, but we kind of just keep playing off that 9 on the edge. As it goes forward, they're able to sort of able to get a little bit better deep. This is really good. Tip, gets to the middle of the field, go forward ball, but we wanted to probably be their first phase rather than this phase. I showed a few clips last week with the winger, 14, maybe could have been getting involved a little bit more. I'd say the same for the 11 here. Like, I'd like to see the 11 step in here and carry, like wingers or roamers are saying, we never get the ball. I don't know whether it's supposed to come back blinds, so I can't tell you what you're going to do. But you got a lot of big guys over here that are taken out of the game. I'd like to see him get in here and get into first receiver and have a carry, like have a go. Just because you're a back, it doesn't mean you can't be that carrying off a 9. Get in there and get a touch. Instead, he kind of comes back this way. Okay, he's holding the width, but he's not going to get involved unless it comes back this way, this phase, which it doesn't look like it is. Again, the winger could be connected in here. He could be doing that role of the 10 as well for a tug or out back, but instead he kind of just puts himself out of the game. I'd like to see, like, I'd put a rule around it myself. Again, this is just my own opinion, like that in a situation like that, a winger has to get, one touch of a ruck or one touch of a ball, get some work done before he goes back to hold his width. There tends to be a pretty good stock or standard way you guys are setting up on second and third, fourth phase with this player showing as a runner and just coming in behind to hit the 10. So it's nice, but I think he gets a bit lazy or he gets a bit out of position and he's not actually effective in his dummy run. So he's in a good position here, to do something, and he kind of walks forward here and walks forward, and And now, like, he's not really a threat. He's not really showing anything. Like, he could be looking to hold this guy from drifting out. If he holds his run a bit and runs into this gap, maybe this guy who's coming around to cover even has to check himself a little bit. And it's those small percentages, those small, 1 or 2 seconds you can get a defense to hold to do it. Instead, he kind of just walks through here, and it comes out and he's not really a threat. This guy can drift off. This guy's coming outside in. He's not really a huge threat. So just something just to keep in the game, just a bit of player IQ, just try and keep himself in the game and actually be a threat. Not trying to pick on players here or get you to show players what they're doing wrong, but just a bit of open field play. The 9 at this stage, on this break, he's got to be looking around, or any player that's coming towards the rack, they've got to be looking around and oh, fucking hell. I'm sorry. Got to be looking and thinking about what's the next play and what's the next best play. If we've come from a turnover ball that was back here by my mouse and we've gone this way, it's likely that the whole, there's going to be a lot of players backtracking from that direction. So as you have a look here as it goes in, we've got quite big holes out here. We've got players backtracking, which is going to cause, confusion, if not win you a penalty. We've got a few players out this direction, and the 9's looking that way with that. They're kind of set. We've only got 2 players. So maybe just a clip to show the 9, or show any player arriving at the ruck that's going to play scrum half. Just take a look around those 4 or 5 steps before you get to the ruck. Taking a look around, seeing what our best options are. Eventually, this player does see it's our best options, but they've got a little bit better of a defensive line then. Here, I'm just going to pick on the winger's depth a little bit. I think he's not a threat because he gets himself so deep. So really good flat pass across the line. This guy running into a hole, he's trying to hold him, and he's just too deep. He's not really a threat. If we could get him in here, so as we play on, the pass can come in through here now, or we have that threat, and then this winger needs to be a lot flatter too. Look how far they are out of the game. Pretty good clip to show them like they're not a threat at all at the offensive line. So this guy needs to get in here for that tug out the back, or even just as a support line on the inside. We get an inside pass with, he can pick his line there. Instead, we get a little break. And those guys, he's still out here. He hasn't done anything. And the 14 doesn't really become a threat. Again, sort of picking on the same things each week, but if players can actually see themselves doing it, I think it's easier to fix. Just another game awareness clip here. You can blame these guys for not shouting long and loud enough, but I would always blame the player around the ruck for not just scanning and having a look. Now, Wiley probably does see a little bit of space out here with an unmarked man. You got numerous numbers this side. You've got a guy coming back onside. I think he's number 4. He likes to hang out in the wing and do not much on defense anyway. And you've got this prop who doesn't seem to be moving too quickly either. And as we play it, maybe just show it to the clip. Slow ball, and he's looking there. We got 1, 2. You got great numbers out here. So much space. They've got a great defensive line out here. We haven't really got the numbers. So again, probably a good clip to show the 9. Even small things I like to do is like during training, as a 9 gets to a ruck, shout at him to close his eyes, freeze it, and then when with his eyes are closed, say, "Tell me where the numbers are for us. Tell me where the numbers are for them. Have you scanned before you got to the ruck?" That on the wingers for not really getting involved. I need to show a clip where he does get involved and does do quite well. So if we're going to pick on him for the bad things that he's doing, got to also talk about the good things that he's doing. So as he paws it here, I could still see him a little bit more connected. Maybe just in behind here, so he can ghost either way. But at least he is there, and at least he is looking to be a threat. As we play it on, gets the pop, and creates half a hole. So while other times he hasn't been getting involved, fair play to them. He plays flat and becomes a threat. Feel a bit bad at picking on this guy, but a good strong run, go forward ball. The winger was sort of here he is lined up here. If he has a look, there's only 2 support players there. Probably not going blind. He could sit himself out here, or as we play it on, he could sit himself on the inside here to be able to ruck. Instead, kind of turns his back on the ball. Could have done with a lot of help there. Sorry, 14, if you watch this. Just trying to help though. Quick connection video. I think Caleb's just on the field. Huntley's doing a good job supporting here. Just like to see him a little bit hungrier. Maybe just in case he does get arms free or something can happen. If the break's made, you got more than just Huntley there. Instead, the contact's made. It's about 8 meters away. Looking to see what's going to happen next phase, which is fine. But if you could just stay and be a little bit more of a threat, the chances may open up for him. Congrats, guys, on a good win in the weekend. One of the tight ones went your way. Certainly deserved that luck. My clips are pretty much the same as they have been all week. Just looking at where I think you can probably make a few more, line breaks and stuff where you can find holes in the defense, making the wingers work a little bit harder to stay in the game. Full credit to the set piece this week, like your scrum, which you had been getting attacked on a little bit. You won quite a few scrum turnovers, so quite obvious to see you guys are doing something right, or a lot of things right. One thing, like I think there's a common theme, is we're not able to find mismatches or where space could be created on the field when we're in our setup. I'm not trying to tell you guys what to do at your trainings or put them out, but just again, this is just me as an analyst and me with a few ideas, just trying to help. But I like to do something where I might put two players in bibs and have them connected arms and have them defending in the defensive line, or two sets of players like that where they have to connect arms. Obviously, they're slower to move, they won't get around the park as much, and just have the players find these guys, find where that mismatch is. So that could be a tired prop after 55 minutes. It could be someone walking into the defensive line, and you have them defending at training during games or your run through. Sorry, players become more cognizant of looking for those mismatches can be and actually attacking around them. Hope these are of a help. Again, like I'm not. I hope I'm not being pushy. I'm not trying to tell you guys how to coach. I'm just looking to help out in any way I can, and hopefully take some of the time off you guys, so I can help. Anyway, as I said, I hope the clips go well, and please touch base with me if you ever want to know anything else, or if you think that I'm picking on the wrong things. I'd love to hear your opinions.